Focus was good. Snapzilla Gorilla, aka Snap Turtle, aka The Definition, coming at y'all with a very short video, but very, very purposeful and very important message in what I got to say now. Now, I want y'all to understand something. They're playing a little game in the state of Virginia. Okay? They're playing a game to test the resolve of two-way supporters, okay? They are testing the resolve of the two-way supporters. You have the controlled opposition, all right? So there's two sides to this. There's a controlled opposition and the pro-gun control folks, like the those who are being backed by Michael Bloomberg, whatever the fuck his name is. Not the actual people who are ignorant and don't really know what's going on with gun control and the agenda behind it. I'm talking about the controllers, right? Like Michael Bloomberg, who puts all this money into these different organizations expressly to come after your Second Amendment rights, okay? Now, he performed a little speech, okay, at the some bullshit for gun violence, whatever. And he talked about all these things he wants to do to strip us of our rights to keep and bear arms. But I want y'all to pay attention to what's going on in Virginia, all right? They're playing a nice little game here. They're playing a game, all right? And Virginia is the perfect state to do this in, right? What happened? What happened in Charleston? Huh? What was it? You know, they had the whole thing with the tiki torches. You know, this whole game where the white woman was ran over by a white man. It's just a lot of racial tension going on. But what's going on now? Well, the Democrats have taken control of the entire state. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to the map of Virginia, or the map of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Look at where the party lines are. Look at the breakdown of Democrat versus Republican in that state. Republicans are the majority of the constituency of the state of Virginia. There are very little Democratic districts in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So why is it that they have fully taken control of that state? Why is it? Okay, and so then they take control of the state and they're promising to pass legislation that would, I mean, I'm talking about completely erase the Second Amendment. They're talking about assault firearms ban. The language is so vague and broad that any semi-automatic weapon can be considered an assault firearm, right? So that's what's happening. That could be a pistol, that could be a semi-automatic shotgun, that could be a semi-automatic hunting rifle, whether it's being fed by a magazine or not. It doesn't specify if it's being fed by a magazine. Okay, so what are we talking about here? We're talking about 90% of the firearms in this country being restricted in the state of Virginia. Okay, then what happens after that's announced? Well, many of these counties in the Commonwealth of Virginia, the sheriffs are pushing sanctuary states, 2A sanctuary states or counties within the Commonwealth of Virginia. Okay, one sheriff even said, oh, if we have to, we'll deputize every citizen in our county in order for them to be able to carry the firearms that are restricted to regular civilians. Why not just say, nah, I'm just going to protect my citizens' rights to keep and bear arms. I don't care if they're a sheriff or not. I don't have to deputize the people in my county that I'm supposed to protect, whose rights I'm supposed to protect. I don't feel the need to deputize them to uphold what the Constitution says about the right to keep and bear arms and how it shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. Let's look at some of the language in that. Okay? A well-regulated militia being necessary for a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Let's look at some of the language. Let's look at the language and what it meant back then. A well-regulated militia Let's look at the word regulated. I talked about this before. Regulated means a well-oiled, well-maintained, well-disciplined, right? A well-equipped militia. Not a well-restricted militia. Not a put all these rules on it militia. Not a well-legislated militia. Well-regulated, meaning that it's unfuckwittable. It can stand up to any tyrannical or invading army. That's what that meant. All right? Being necessary for a free state. Well, everybody talks about how ambiguous the Constitution is, right? Well, let's think about that. A free state of being? Could they be talking about a free state as in a free state within the Union? Or could they be talking about a free state of mind? Being necessary for a free state of mind. Why not both? Why not being necessary for a free state of mind and a free state in the Union? They're both important, right? Because when you break it down to its bare bones, when you talk about how the Constitution began and what was going on at the time when they were trying to push the federalization, centralizing the government within the Union, right? Because there was 13 states, 13 independent coexisting states where the governor of each state was essentially the president of that area, of that region. Okay? And each state had its own Bill of Rights that still exists today. And that was the problem with the initial draft of the Constitution. It had no Bill of Rights. It had no Bill of Rights for the people. Every state had a Bill of Rights. But when they introduced the Constitution of the United States of America, there was no Bill of Rights. So the Federalists had to go back with the input of the state governors, right, and the state constituencies, and they had to draft a Bill of Rights. It's only right the states had it, so why not make it? Why not put a redundancy on our rights, on the protection of our rights, by making a federal Bill of Rights? Why not? That's what they did. Now, they wanted a free state, and they wanted a free state of mind. Now, did this apply to everybody? Of course it didn't. You know, black folks were considered 3/5 of a human, so that they wouldn't be protected by the Bill of Rights. So when when it mentioned the people in the Constitution, it didn't apply to black folks. Granted, we understand that. We got that out the way. But now it does. Okay? So, that out the way. See, the sheriffs of the Commonwealth of Virginia, they're pushing these sanctuary counties within the state, within the Commonwealth, which is a good thing. Which could be a good thing. That could be a good thing. But now what we have in response to this are the Democrats of the state of, that run the state of Commonwealth of Virginia now. They're talking about calling in the National Guard to enforce these new laws that they're introducing, because the sheriffs say they will not enforce these laws because they are unconstitutional and they go against what they believe in, blah blah blah. So you gotta look at that, and that's why the sheriff said no. Then we'll deputize them if we have to. But see, that's not what we should be doing. The sheriffs should stand on their nuts and say, yo, nah, we're not doing it. Period. They don't have to be the sheriff deputies to get protected. All right. So now they're talking about calling in the National Guard if the sheriffs don't enforce these laws. And now everybody's worried about a civil war. Oh, it's a civil war coming. Oh, it's going to start. Virginia's going to be ground zero for a civil war. I want y'all to think about something here. I want y'all to really, really think about this. What is the National Guard? National Guard is essentially an army that is whose task it is to protect the state or under the orders of the governor, right? So the governor controls the governor can call in a National Guard in times of civil unrest and whatever the case may be. You have to be very smart when you activate the National Guard in your state, okay? But I want y'all to think about this. Everybody's concerned about a civil war and how it's going to start between the sheriffs and the National Guard and the people of the counties, right? But I want y'all to think about this. Okay, so we established what a National Guard is. National Guard is a standing army within the states that's supposed to be controlled by the governor, right? The governor can activate the National Guard. But that's not it. The feds can also activate the National Guard and use them for what they wish. They can call in the National Guard and send them overseas to fight wars, which they have done. Why do you think Tulsi Gabbard, who belongs to the Hawaiian National Guard, went over to Iraq and Afghanistan? She's National Guard. It's supposed to be National Guard. She's supposed to be staying back, making sure Hawaii's okay. Nah. So when you hear people say that the National Guard is the militia that they were referring to in the Second Amendment, slap them upside their head with the truth. No, the National Guard can be federalized at any point by the President of the United States. But I want y'all to see what's going on here. I want y'all to think about this. They're trying to scare you with the Civil War. This is all a setup. This is all a game to test the resolve of the people. See, they don't want it to go to civil war. I'm going to explain why. But first, I'm going to mention something. I'm going to be going in a lot of different directions right now. Okay? A lot of different directions. I want y'all to watch the show, Designated Survivor. All right? With Kiefer Sutherland. All right? He's in this show, he is the HUD director, okay? Within the president's cabinet. And whenever they get together for a State of the Union, right? They all go to the House of Congress or whatever the fuck, and they sit there and listen to the president talk. The Senate and the Congress, they all come together for the State of the Union. But they leave one person behind at the White House in a secure bunker while they're at this fucking meeting. And that individual is the designated survivor. All right? So that means that if something happens and the whole shit gets blown up while the State of the Union address is occurring and all these people die in there, they'll have somebody to run the country if everybody dies. So that's what this dude was. Kiefer Sutherland played the HUD director who was the designated survivor because everybody at the State of the Union, or so they thought, died in an explosion. Okay? It was blown up. Everybody died, including the president, including everybody in Congress, including everybody in the Senate, except for one woman. Okay? So, what happened was, they started fighting against him. The governors of the states started declaring independence from the federal government because they felt like the new president, who never wanted to be president in the first place, who just had the job just thrown at him, he was not qualified. They didn't feel like he was a legit president. So they said, okay, we ain't gonna fuck with you. All right? We ain't gonna fox with you. Nah. So there was one particular governor. I forgot what state it was. I think it was Arizona. There was a governor of the state of Arizona was given the most pushback, okay? And so they thought Muslims, right? They thought Muslims were responsible for blowing up the State of the Union. So they started rounding up Muslims, throwing them in internment camps and interrogating them and doing all kind of shit. Just every Muslim they saw. The governor was like, snatch their ass up and we'll do this, that, and the third. And the president was like, no, we're not going to, no, stand down, don't do that. That's not right, blah, blah, blah. We need to investigate, blase, blase, blah. All right? So what ended up happening, the governor said, nah, fuck that, homie. You don't run shit over here. I'm declaring independence. We're seceding from the Union. All right. And so the president's like, damn, what the hell I'm going to do? So what he did was, a lot of shit happened. Long story short, he federalized, he activated the National Guard to arrest the governor and the police officers that were resisting. Okay? That's what he did. But he gets there, right? No, he sends a what they call that, an emissary. He sends somebody over there to the state of Arizona. I don't know the exact state. I think it was Arizona. And when they get there, they're expecting the National Guard to arrest the governor. But nah, that ain't what happened. The National Guardsman, right, the leader of that National Guard in that state, said, nah, we rolling with the governor. Okay? And he rolled with the governor. Now, something happened and it ended up turning around, right? They were diplomatic and all that shit and came to a common ground and whatever. But the point is that I'm explaining to you what the point is. The point is that he was able to activate the National Guard as the president. Okay, I know it's just a TV show, but it's kind of accurate. So he was able to, and I know that for a fact. The president can activate the National Guard and use them for whatever the fuck that he wants to use them for. All right, he has control over the National Guard. His power over the National Guard supersedes that of the governor. That's the whole point, right? So what are we looking at here? What we're looking at is this. The reason I don't feel like there will be a civil war in that way. See, that it's not going to happen like that. Y'all have to understand that the National Guard, the men and women that make up the National Guard are from that very state. Y'all hear me? The men and women, the soldiers that make up that National Guard are from and live in and have family in that very state. They might have kids that go to school in that state. They will have. They have regular jobs. They have coworkers. They have friends in that state. So what they're going to expect, let me listen. 9 times out of 10, too, the people of Virginia that belong to the National Guard are pro 2A. 9 times out of 10, 9 members out of 10 are going to be pro 2A. All of them are going to have family in the state of Virginia. Husbands, wives, children, cousins, aunties, mothers, fathers, friends, neighbors, animals, land. So you're telling me that you're going to activate the National Guard filled with individuals who belong to that state. You're going to send them to their own homes to round people up who refuse to round up the sheriffs and then start enforcing these gun laws that are unenforceable. These gun laws are unenforceable. And they're unenforceable. You would basically have to go door to door and take everybody's weapon. You take everybody's weapon, every single one of them. Right? And we're just talking about the law-abiding citizens. You would have to go door to door. I don't think they have a registry in Virginia. I don't think you have to register your firearms in Virginia. So that means you'd have to go door to door. You have to go to the range. You have to go here. You have to go there. You have to round up everybody's firearm, right? And let's say these sheriffs are really for the people and protecting the Second Amendment. Oh no, fuck that. Not protecting the Second Amendment. Protecting the people's rights to keep and bear arms. Protect their privacy. Protect their the security of their persons, papers, and effects. Who's to say that the sheriffs won't allow people to bring their shit to the sheriff's station while the soldiers are running through the homes to snatch shit up? You would literally have to go and take everybody's weapon to enforce these laws. Then you won't need the law. If no one has a weapon, you don't need the law, right? Listen, you're talking about sending people to their own home hometowns to commit abuse and atrocities on their own people within their own state. Listen, there's levels to brainwashing, okay? There are levels to it. And I'll say this. You can brainwash a soldier. You can brainwash the shit out of the soldier to kill their own mother. Okay? You look at a country like China. All right? You look at a country like China, and their soldiers are so brainwashed. Their soldiers are so conditioned to order following that they will kill their own mother. They'll snatch their own mother up and throw them in internment camps. And I would even say that some police officers are more brainwashed than soldiers. They'll be more inclined to terrorize their own citizens. You see, soldiers aren't trained to terrorize their own citizenry until they become police officers. Until they get out. They get out of the Army, they get out of the Navy, they get out of the Marines, and 9 times out of 10, if you're a former military who becomes a police officer, you were infantry like me. And infantry are trained to kill, and that's why they love infantrymen. That's why the police department loves infantrymen. Now, instead of training you to go after the enemy of a foreign land, they'll train you to go after the enemy of your own land. So, a police officer be more inclined to be brainwashed than a soldier, right? You have to retrain a soldier to go after their own people. I mean, and then you have to propagandize the shit out of them. I mean, you talk about MK Ultra to the nth degree. But no, it's not going down like that. It's not going to go down like that. You're talking about you're going to send a platoon of soldiers who are from this very, like, that. This is their home. This is their heart. This is where they live. This is where they grew up. They're homegrown individuals. So you're gonna tell them to go through town in tanks, in armored personnel vehicles, and fly around in Black Hawks and shit like that, and if necessary, to just start slaughtering your own people. What if there's a resistance? What if there is a militia? What if there's a militia? What if there's hundreds of people in town, or thousands of people in this town, come together and say, nah, we're gonna stand up for our rights. And they all form a line, armed up, locked and loaded, ready to go, ready to blast. Dozens of magazines on them. They're not gonna raise their firearms on the soldiers first. But do you expect the soldiers to do that? You think the soldiers are gonna raise their arms, raise their firearms, and just start mowing down civilians in the state that they grew up in and they love? I want y'all to think about that. As a soldier, now, as a veteran, I can tell you I was an infantryman. I was never taken into a room, strapped to a chair. I was never had my eyes taped open and was forced to watch anything. I was never drugged up. You know, we got vaccinations and things like that. You know, yes, I was heavily vaccinated. And no telling what they put in me. Now, they could have put all kind of shit in me. I don't know. You know, you don't know what kind of shit they got. They could have gave me something that made me go through a fugue state for weeks and weeks and had me doing some shit that I don't know. But I can tell you, I don't think that happened. I was aware of my faculties at every moment. We're not, the soldiers aren't, listen, they don't tell us, we have very strict rules of engagement, soldiers, okay? The infantry has very strict rules of engagement during armistice time, during peacetime, okay? If we're not at war, we have very strict rules of engagement. There are also very strict rules of engagement during war. And as you all know, there have been atrocities committed by certain soldiers toward innocent civilians in these foreign lands. That has happened, and a lot of people got caught up in it. A lot of soldiers got caught up in it. Female soldiers, male soldiers. There's something about war. There's something about that. There's something about the bloodlust that it drives in you, that it brings up in you, that makes you do stupid shit. You know what I mean? No excuse for it, but I'm telling you about the atmosphere, okay? The atmosphere of a soldier in a foreign land. Pay attention. In a foreign land where they tell you these people might be having bombs strapped to them. Don't trust the children. Don't trust the women. You might get caught up and get your head cut off. All this shit is real. Oh, look out for piles of rocks on the side of the road, because it might be an IED that blow your ass up. That atmosphere is very different than the atmosphere you have here in the United States. You're talking about your own people. It's not going to be that easy, man. If it was, they'd have done it already. If it was that easy, if it was that easy for them to get soldiers to wholesale slaughter their own people because that they know we're going to resist, what did Japan say? What did the Japanese general say when they bombed Pearl Harbor, and why they went about it that way? They did not want to invade the United States because behind every blade of grass is a man with a gun. There will be resistance, whether we have anything more powerful than a bazooka or not. Oh, what about the bazookas that the military and the drones and the tanks? People are still gonna resist, man. It's not gonna be that easy. Look. I mean, look at Afghanistan. Look at Iraq. Heavily outnumbered, heavily outgunned. Well, maybe not outnumbered. Heavily outgunned, heavily out sophisticated, and they're still there. Look at fucking Vietnam. Look at Vietnam. Way more technologically advanced than Vietnam. Way more firepower than Vietnam. They got run up out of there. Okay, I'm just letting y'all know. Now, when you tell your soldiers, you're going to be mobilized to Charleston, Virginia, and you're going to ride through the streets, and then you're going to go in there and you're going to take everybody's guns, and if they resist, shoot to kill. I'm gonna tell you some of the rules of engagement. Okay, so if the National Guard is activated in the Commonwealth of Virginia, the rules of engagement are going to be very strict. We're talking about they're going to be able to throw rocks at people, right? Now the people are going to be able to throw rocks at the soldiers. You have to wait until the gun is pointed at you to fire on them. And listen, it's not even going to be that. It's not going to be like that. You're Civil war might come, but it's not going to be in the form that many people think it's going to be in. Let me tell you something. If a civil war comes between the tyrannical government and the citizenry of this country, we would have to play it very smart. We would have to start not with violence, but with hearts and minds. What do I mean by that? Everybody, or many of you guys know a soldier that is still active in the military, and that soldier knows other soldiers, and you can start putting them up on game. What you want to do is reach the soldiers. You want to reach them, you want to talk to them, you want to reach the veterans, because they're going to know soldiers too. You want to reach out to these people. You don't want to reach out to the cops. You don't want to reach out to government agencies. You don't want to reach out to the FBI or CIA. You want to reach out to the soldiers. Every successful, or the majority of every successful coup has been initiated by the standing military of that country. Because guess what? At the end of the day, it's the people with the firepower that hold the cards. So if you want to overthrow something, or if you want to start a coup, the military is the best way to go about it, because they hold all the cards. They have all the firepower. See what I'm saying? You have to get the soldiers on your side. And it's very possible because they belong, they're you. These people are you. They are the citizens of this country, right? They grew up here. They live here. They're bred here. They swore to protect the people of this country and all our rights. The Constitution against any enemy, foreign and domestic. I put my hand on the Bible and raised the hand to God and shit and said I would do that. I believed in it at the time. But you don't want to, you don't want to reach out to cops though. No. I wouldn't do that because they're firmly ensconced in their in their cognitive dissonance. They're order followers. They are used to haranguing. They're used to extorting the citizens. They look down on us. Okay? Police officers look down on you. They think that they're your overlord. They are what they call them, the overseer, right? You the slave, they're the overseer. You know, they're not the owner, but they're your overlords. You can't tell them nothing. No, I wouldn't trust a cop with nothing. I wouldn't trust them motherfucking keep ice cream cold in the motherfucking Antarctica. No. You want to reach out to them. You want to reach out to the soldiers. You want to reach out to the vets. So that's the key. You want to get them on your side because your side is their side. They just don't know it yet. Even the cops don't know it. And yeah, you might have some sheriffs that are decent people, but at the end of the day, they're order followers too. These sheriffs in Virginia, how far will they go to protect your rights? How far will they go? They haven't been tested that way before. There's sanctuary counties all over the place that haven't faced the test that they're going to face in Virginia. So we'll have to see about that. But I would say take it with a grain of salt. They tell you, oh, we're going to protect your rights to keep and bear arms. You really want to do that? Then dismantle your whole department. How about that? That's how you prove it. And let the people police themselves. That's how you do that. Step down as a sheriff. De-sherify all your people. And bring them back down to the level of the people that they're there to serve. And still protect the community. But only protect the community. Don't follow orders. Do what's right. Do what you're supposed to do to protect your community. And if that means going against the directive of the state governor, if you have to go against the state governor to protect your people, if you're no longer a sheriff, if your deputies are no longer deputies, they're just there to protect the community, then you won't have nothing to worry about. Let the community police itself, starting with you, sheriff. Say, I'm no longer a sheriff. I'm a regular citizen like y'all, but I will stand to protect and serve you guys. I will serve my community only and 100%. Then tell your deputy the same thing. Look, we can still ride out, we can still patrol, but we gotta go out there with a mindset of protecting these people, not extorting them, not by pulling them over some bullshit because they went 10 miles over the speed limit, not because they ran a stop sign and didn't hit anybody. They were cautious. They didn't make a complete stop. They did a California roll and then kept going. Leave them alone. Unless they harm or hurt somebody, leave them the fuck alone. Let them do their thing. Let them operate in the free market. And then they will reward you for protecting them. You can still be rewarded for protecting them. Except now, they'll appreciate it more because they'll know for a fact that you're there to protect them. That's how you know your sheriff is real. Not by deputizing the entire motherfucking county. No. De-deputize your deputies and de-sherify yourself. And say, look, and make an announcement. Look, y'all, I'm dismantling the sheriff department right up in here. And We don't need. Get a petition going. Get a petition going from all the people of that county that say we do not want any public police department running up and through here. We will take care of our own business. We'll either take our we either allow the men and women of our county to step up and do patrols and keep us safe, or we'll hire a private police force. But we don't need you. That's what a real sheriff would do. If you know they really real, they'll come out and do that. Nah, we don't need the sheriff department. We just need to protect our community. We don't need a department for that. We just do it. We do it because we know we have to. Because we know if we just let our guard down, anybody can run up in here and do whatever the fuck they want to us. But as long as you're governmentized, as long as you're a department that is controlled and come on, you're an order follower. You have to do what they want you to do. No, you run these public police departments out of your town, out of your county. And you hire a private police force from within your own community. You get people within your own community to come together and form a militia of sorts that can replace this police department. Don't need it. Don't need it. I don't need the government. I don't need government functionaries delegating my protection with other people. No, we choose who we want to protect us. And that's how you do that. Then you know that sheriff's department is loyal to you, your county, the people of the county. That's who the sheriffs should be loyal to, the county, the people of the county. Not the state governor. That's how you do that. And you know what? That's how you know they real. And then the soldiers, like I said, you reach out to your soldiers and get them on your side. Reach out to the veterans. Reach out to these people before it's too late. But I can tell you right now, it's not gonna be no civil war between the fucking National Guard and the people of Virginia. It's not gonna happen like that. It's not gonna happen like that. No. These people, none of these people. Listen, let me tell you something. In China, it's a different story. In China, you got people, you got the government rounding up Muslims, throwing them in internment camps, and harvesting their fucking organs. And the soldiers are instrumental in making that happen. Do you really think the soldiers of the United States are going to do something similar? Because that's what they want. At the end of the day, these people, the powers that be, at the end of the day, what they want is they want to harvest, they want to lock you up in internment camps. They want to kill 90% of you. And the rest, they want to use for cattle. They want to make sure that they have the organs they need to live forever. And drink their adrenochrome and all that shit. No, they can't do it the way China's doing it. They wish they could. They wish they can run through town and run through the country like China and just snatch people up whenever they want. No. Because the soldiers aren't brainwashed like that here. No. So I want y'all to really think about that. Don't let them scare you into thinking that the National Guard is going to run down on you and just start slaughtering people. No, it's not going to happen. No, they're going to use special forces for that. They're going to use police officers for that. You know, that and I mean, look what happened in New Orleans with Katrina. That wasn't soldiers. That was the police departments. That was the SWAT teams. Now, they did have some Army engineers blowing up levees and shit, allegedly. But, you know, I'm not saying that if they were convinced that it was the right thing to do, that these soldiers wouldn't do something that isn't right if they were convinced that it was the right thing to do. But no. No, it's not going to happen like that in Virginia. No, it's going to be a whole different story. It's going to be death by 1,000 cuts. They're not going to use the National Guard to start slaughtering people. No. Nope. Like I said, it'll be the police department first. Maybe FBI, CIA SWAT teams. Not CIA SWAT teams. FBI SWAT teams and maybe ATF or something like that. Domestic law enforcement, federal law enforcement. They're already prepared for that. They'll be more inclined. Anyway, that was a long one. I wasn't expecting it to be this long, but y'all catch my drift. Reach out to the soldiers, reach out to the veterans. Put them up on game. Ask them questions. Ask them what they think about what's going on. Ask them what they think about the Second Amendment. Ask them what they think about protecting your rights. Because that's what they swore to do. So, anyway, much love to y'all. That was a long one. I know. I went off on a tangent, but I had to get it off my chest. I had to spit that real shit. Listen. Don't be dumb. Okay? Don't be dumb. Don't give these people a reason to murder you. Don't give these people a reason to slaughter you on the street. Okay? Be smart about the shit. Be smart. Be tactical. Be strategic. Don't let them see your moves before you make them. Okay? Anyway, much love to y'all. Y'all have a great weekend. I might do a little bit of a training video tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see about that. I need to get back into my survival tips. Just got to put some stuff together. And much love to y'all. Yeah, I'll let y'all later. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, and don't let the bullshit drag you down. And don't ever let nobody take you off your square. All right? Stay up.